The Netherlands aims to raise defense spending to 3.5% of GDP. The caretaker Dutch government has agreed to raise its defense budget to 3.5% of gross domestic product, GDP, a move described by Acting Defense Minister Ruben Brekelmans as a historic decision that strengthens the armed forces and national security. Please, before we continue, do not forget to like and subscribe. In addition, the government wants to spend a further 1.5% of GDP on projects that support defense capabilities, such as cybersecurity and infrastructure improvements. This broader effort is being framed as general resilience. The decision, taken by the caretaker cabinet made up of the VVD, NSC, and BBB, is in line with NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte's call for member states to spend 5% of their GDP on defense-related commitments. The current NATO norm is 2%, which the Netherlands only just meets. It's important that we get our security in order and reinforce the military, said Brekelmans, who has been pushing for the Netherlands to support NATO's position ahead of the alliance's summit in The Hague later this month. Cost not yet covered. The caretaker cabinet is free to put forward new policy initiatives, but it is unclear if it can count on majority support in parliament. The largest opposition party, GL-PVDA, has not commented publicly, and the far-right PVV, which pulled out of the coalition earlier this month, does not support a boost in defense spending. The cost of the extra spending has been estimated at between €16 billion and €19 billion per year, but the caretaker government has not yet decided how it will be financed. We have the coming years to find an answer to that, said Brekelmans, adding that it will be up to the next cabinet to finalize funding plans. Rutte has repeatedly urged NATO's 32 member states to raise their defense budgets, and a formal agreement to target 3.5% of GDP is expected to be adopted at the summit in The Hague later this month. The Netherlands' push for increased defense spending. The Netherlands has joined the growing list of NATO member states aiming to boost their defense spending. The caretaker Dutch government has agreed to raise its defense budget to 3.5% of gross domestic product, GDP, a move that aligns with the NATO's new target. But what's behind this decision, and how will it impact the country's security and global stance? NATO's defense spending targets. NATO's defense spending targets have been a topic of discussion for years. The alliance initially set a guideline in 2006 that member states should invest at least 2% of their GDP in defense. This target was formalized in 2014 following Russia's annexation of Crimea. However, even after 4 years, only a handful of member states had reached the Dutch royal family, including into their lives. The UK and the US. The Dutch royal family, known as the House of Orange-Nassau, has been a cornerstone of Dutch society for centuries. Fast forward to 2025, led by King Willem-Alexander, increasing the defense spending target to 5%, is beloved by many for their charitable work, dedication to conventional defense, and commitment to modernizing the monarchy. Meet the Netherlands aims to raise defense spending to 3.5% at the heart of the Dutch royal family. Dutch government has agreed to raise its defense budget to 3.5% of the gross domestic product, GDP. Born on December 7, 2003, she is the eldest child of King Willem-Alexander and strengthens the armed forces and national security. As the heir apparent, Princess Amalia has been preparing for her future role as queen since a young age. In addition, the government wants to spend a further 1.5% of GDP on projects that support defense capabilities, such as cybersecurity and infrastructure improvements. The incident occurred on Tuesday, and the Royal Palace announced that she underwent surgery in the hospital. The decision, taken by the caretaker cabinet made up of as soon as it becomes clear what consequences there may be for any official duties, NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte's call for member states to spend 5% of their GDP about Princess Amalia's upcoming royal duties, but the royal family has assured the public that they are monitoring the situation closely. Given her recent increase in official security in order and reinforce the military schedule, said Brekelmans, her recovery who has been pushing for the Netherlands to support NATO's position ahead of the alliance's summit in The Hague later this month. Princess Amalia has been making headlines for her growing role in the royal family. The caretaker cabinet is free to put forward new policy initiatives. She turned 21 recently and has been taking on more official duties in Parliament. Here are some interesting facts about her life and education. Superscript 1 has not commented publicly. Education far-right PVV. Princess Amalia studied at Blomkamp Primary School and does not support gymnasium defense spending. The cost of the extra spending has been distinction and is currently pursuing a degree in politics, psychology, per year, law, but the caretaker government has not yet decided how it will be financed. Gap year asterisk. We have the coming years to find an answer to that. After graduating from high school, adding Princess Amalia took a gap year to finalize during which she interned at the Orange Fund and volunteered at other organizations. Rutte has repeatedly urged NATO's 32 member states to raise their defense Princess Amalia speaks Dutch to target English 3.5% of GDP is expected to be adopted at the summit in Mandarin Chinese this month. The Netherlands push for increased defense engagements. The Netherlands has joined the growing
Princess
list of NATO
Amalia has
member
been
states
attending
aiming to
various
boost their
royal
defense
events
and
and
engagements. The caretaker
Some
Dutch government
notable
has
events
agreed to
include
raise its
Superscript
defense
1.
budget to 3.5% of gross domestic product.
She participated in her
GDP,
first official
a move that
engagement
aligns
during
with
a
the
state
NATO's
visit
new
last
target.
year.
But what's
Prince
behind this
Jesdag
decision,
and
how will it impact
Amalia
the country's
security and
Jesdag,
global stance,
with a king addressed a joint session
NATO's
of the
defense
States
spending
General of the
targets.
Netherlands. NATO's
Royal
defense
tours
spending
asterisk.
targets have been
She
a
went on
topic
a
of
royal
discussion
tour
for
of the
years.
Dutch Caribbean with her parents.
The alliance
visiting
initially
Aruba,
set a guideline
Curaçao,
in 2006
Saint
that member
Bonaire,
states should
Saint
invest at
Eustatius,
least 2% of their
and
GDP in defense.
Challenges faced by Princess
This
Amalia.
target was formalized in
Despite her
2014
life,
following Russia's
Princess Amalia
annexation
has
of
faced
Crimea.
challenges, including
However,
security
even after
threats
4
asterisk.
years, only a handful of member
Due
states
to security
had reached the
concerns,
2% target.
Princess Amalia had to
including
move
Greece,
back to
the
the
UK,
Royal Palace
and
from
the
her
US.
student housing in Amsterdam.
The push for 3.5%
She even spent
and 5%. Fast forward to 2025, and NATO is considering increasing the defense spending target to 5%, with 3.5% allocated for conventional defense and 1.5% for BRO.